Okay, here we have four separate LED lights. The one on the right is a 15,000 lumen light. Next is a 1200 lumen light. After that, a 1600 lumen. And finally, a 700 lumen light, which is intended to be a helmet light. From the back, the Teon North 15,000 light has a green light that stays on. The Bright Eyes 1200 lumen light has a green light that stays on, while the Vohm light and the Cycle Beam don't have lights on until the lights are activated. So let's go see what these lights will do. Now, peering down a city street, it's somewhat dark here. We'll start with our first 15,000 lumen light. Gives some visibility close to the bike, but distance is not very good. It has a lower level, which is nearly useless, and a strobe, which might be helpful during the day. The Bright Eyes is fairly bright in a very focal area. It has a diffuser that comes with it, which gives it a horizontal beam, but diminishes the intensity of the light. This also reduces in intensity, which doesn't make it particularly useful, but not useless. And a strobe for daytime. This light should in theory turn red before the battery goes dead. The one here on the right, let's wait for this car. On the right is a Cycle Beam. It's 700 lumens. Actually, for 700 lumens, I think it's very well focused. I think it nearly gives as much light, if not better distribution, than the 1200 lumen Bright Eyes. And it too diminishes in intensity, which still is reasonably useful. One more down, which is not very useful. Strobe. And an SOS. Finally, the Vohm light, which is, in my mind, the most intense and best light of all of them. As you can see, the road's greatly lit up with this light. I think it has a great distribution of light with the ability to see quite far down the road. This light can be diminished in intensity, except at the lowest level seems to do pretty well. Now, this is on a city street where there's some reflective light from the city streets. Let's take a look at the mountain road. So here we are on the mountain road where there's no city lights, very dark. We use the 15,000 lumen Teon, and it's quite bright, losing some detail of the road. Soft focus, down one level, and its strobe. Then the Bright Eyes 1200 lumen, a nice spot but difficult to see before and after the spot. Down one level. And we have the cycle beam, which for 700 lumen I think is excellent. Gives you a nice broad beam, you can see far. Lowest beam not very useful. And finally the foam light, which by far is the best in terms of visibility. Even if you add some of these other lights, they're so overshadowed by the foam light that they're not of much use.